Oh, hi. Good morning. My name is Jackie. Hi, good morning. Because I'm in church, I can't lie and say that I have no anxiety about speaking in front of you all. I'm just going to go with it. So I've been coming to this church since August 2013. And because I only have a short period of time, I can't get into all the details of how God brought me to this church, but it was a supernatural way to get me to this specific church. So I know that I was meant to be here. And Pastor, when he asked me to outline some of the things that have happened this past year, my first reaction was, of course, anxiety about speaking in front of people. But quickly it turned to giving God the glory because he's done a lot. Like, he has done a lot. A lot of things where he just has shown himself to me this year. And it's really important to share that. For me to go through it, to remember how blessed I am, and also as an encouragement to you guys as well to hear how much God is working. So I'm going to start at the beginning. Around this time last year, up on the screen, Pastor had an announcement about a course called Life's Healing Choices. And I saw this announcement and thought, I'm not that Christian that goes to things and participates. That's not me. I sit in the back, I'm very quiet, I go home. But something about that course spoke to me. And so I decided that I wanted to go. And something told me to invite my sister, who's there at the back, right there. I'm going to call her out too, Cheryl. We are different people, by the way. And I just wanted to invite her because something inside me said it would be good, and she actually said yes, and that was just, it blew my mind. So we started going to this course that Linda Nardello was leading, and with some other ladies, and God just started to work in all of us, and showing things to me and revealing things to me, and the hurt that I was labeling myself with was slowly but surely being removed, actually quickly being removed, very quickly. And it was, everything about those 8 sessions was supernatural. And it was so successful that we decided to do the course again just because same ladies, same material, just had to do it again. And one of the big things, many things I learned from the course, but one of the big things that I got from it is that my sister mentioned once about giving God the first fruits of your day or what you have. And until I started that course, I would pray at night, and I'd be very tired at night, and I can honestly say that the quality of prayer may not have been as strong as it should be. And when I started praying in the morning and waking up early, which is very difficult for me, I thought to myself, well, how is it going to be any better? I'm tired, I'm groggy. And God just met me there so much. And the quality time that we spent together just grew and grew and grew. And I got later and later from work, but it didn't matter because what am I going to say to my boss? I was praying. You can't get mad at me for that. But it was just amazing how when you give him part of your day, how much more he gives you and how that sets your day on a certain tone. And it was just amazing. And then when Pastor, I'm going all over the place. My notes are out the window now, but anyways. And also Pastor was talking about, you mentioned once about doing a prayer walk. And my work environment is a stressful one. And I was always trying to be the fixer and try to fix it all the time. And then I realized it's not for me to fix. So I started walking around the office and just praying alone, and then started walking around the office and saying good morning to people and just putting my hand on their shoulder and praying for them in my mind. And things at work just started to change. They just started to change. And I started to change because it was no longer my role to fix all these people. It was my role to bring it to God. And it was just very amazing. And by doing that, some people started asking me, like, why are you putting your hand on my shoulder and saying good morning? And for some of them, I would say, I'm praying for you, and I hope you don't have a problem with that. And none of them seemed to have a problem with that. And it started up a conversation about who I really am and what my values are, because I was being open about that. I wasn't putting my Christian life on one part in my work life. It was all merging together. Really scary but magnificent way. You're going to have to flag me when I'm out of time, Pastor, because I can just go on. And I have to just mention one thing about that. There was a specific work person that had asked me why I was going around, and I told her. And at work with my colleagues, I'm often the, like I said, fixer, where people would come speak to me, and I'd listen to their problems and give them advice and not take it to God. And I started to realize that that's kind of all about me and not about God. And so I started, telling people when they would unload their problems, say, it's really hard, I'm going to pray for you. And they kind of look at me like, well, where's that long speech where you're going to explain life and get all emotional from me? I'm like, no, I'm bringing that up now. And there was one particular person who came to speak to me, and I listened to her, and then she left my office. And about 3 hours later, I saw her walk by my office, and something inside me said, call her in your office and give her a hug. And I was like, no, I'm way too casual with my staff already. It's not appropriate. You need to draw those lines. And then the voice said, call her inside your office and give her a hug. And I was like, okay. So I called her in my office, and I just got up from my desk, and I did this. And she said, how did you know? And I said, God told me. And she was like, what? And I said, he did. And I just hugged her, and she said, I really wanted a hug. I didn't want to disturb you. So I just kept on walking, but I needed this comfort. And I'm like, oh, God. Not only are you showing me that you're going to speak to me when you want me to do something, but you're showing other people how you work in their lives. And it was just amazing. And that's just one of the examples of how God has shown himself this year. I can't go through them all because we don't have 3 hours. But that was amazing, because now I talk to this person about God, and she tells me how prayer seems to work for you. So now when I'm stressed at night, I pray, and it helps me fall asleep. Those are the first steps. That's God working. That's amazing. Let's see. I'm going to jump to finances, which I'm sure everybody could relate to. And I had been praying for a long time for a financial blessing, and I, was having some difficulties. And God, again, through the church, showed me this finance course that Pastor and Pastor Kathy were offering. And I thought to myself, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be helpful. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And I really want to thank both of you guys for offering that course, because first of all, it just gave me so much structure, but God just showed me how if I just pray to him and ask him for help and guidance, he's going to work. And it's just this example of if I give like 5%, he gives 5,000. It's just an abundance. And it's really amazing when he's working right in front of you, because I've changed some things in my finances, and now God has just blessed me so much, like cash money blessings, like blessings. And it's amazing, and I feel like so many times this year God is reminding me, like, I'm here and I work in a supernatural way. So when you're praying for things and you really don't see an out, you're forgetting that God works supernaturally. I don't have to see the out, but he's going to bring it, and it's really amazing every time he does. I also want to mention that through the church, there was a speaker, Pastor Swisher, and they did prophetic ministry, and his wife came to me and said a lot of things to me, but one of them is that I am not the fixer, as I mentioned a bunch of times. And at the time, in my head, I'm like, well, yes, I am, because nobody else is going to be, and that's my role, and that's who I've been for 31 years. And so many times since April is when she told me that, where there were situations with family where I just said to her, I'm not the fixer, and just put up my hands and kind of separated from it, and the peace and avoidance of arguments that it has brought me is amazing. So God is so good. And going finances. Oh, and also, I've always had this feeling that I wanted to be more involved in church, but just didn't know how. And in August, again, a lot of things happen in August. There was a mention about the cleaning responsibilities in the church, and it just kind of spoke to me. I was like, I feel like that's something I want to do. But I prayed about it first to make sure it would work. And again, it's just this thing that God has put in my life that seems like it would be boring and work, but it's like there's a communion with God when you're doing things for him, and I feel really good about that. And so I don't feel happy when I'm vacuuming my own home, but somehow I feel very happy when I'm vacuuming here. And it's so weird, because I'm home and I'm angry, and I'm here, I'm like, oh, I'm listening to my gospel. So it's just really cool how, God makes those opportunities. I just going to outline some other little things that, just to summarize, that when we give everything to God and just say, God, please take it all, I don't know how, and really let go, he gives you everything your heart could desire. And this past year, I've gotten so many blessings, and I feel like I finally understand what it's like to be specifically loved in his daughter, like him and I together in this. And it's amazing, and I feel very special, and it's just great that everybody here and everybody in the world can also feel that special. And I just want to remind you all of that God is a personal God that's there for us as an individual and always has time to hear us, and it's amazing. And that he works in a supernatural way, so we don't have to have the solutions, we just need to bring it to him. One of the other things that I got from the Life's Healing Choices course, which may seem very basic to all you, but it blew my mind, is that we are not meant to go through life without God. We're not built that way. It's like a toaster. It doesn't work unless you plug it in. And I'd always looked at myself as like, you pray about something when you're really, really low. No, every single day before you get low, you pray about something so you don't get there. And Satan doesn't have a chance to get in and start making you unravel, which is how he used to work for me. So it's just, I wanted to remind you guys of that as well. And also to say that when Pastor started talking about, going out and like apostolic center, and I was thinking to myself, I'm not this type of Christian. I can't go on the streets and preach. That's not who I am. But it's not about that. It's about everyday conversation and just proclaiming who you are and how that builds and how people are getting to know the Lord through the things that you say. So it's just really awesome. And through that, I started the Life Healing Courses, a program at my work. And a lot of people showed interest, but only one ended up coming, but it was still great. It was really good. And I told them that I'd offer again, so we'll see what happens in January. So it's just really exciting. And I'm going to wrap up by just sharing 2 verses that really spoke to me this year. Excuse me. Philippians 4:6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So I don't need to worry anymore is a summary of that one. And the other verse was Romans 8:14 through 17. Because those who are led by the Spirit of God are the sons of God. For you did not receive a spirit that makes you a slave again to fear, but you received a spirit of sonship. And by him we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit himself testifies to our spirit that we are God's children. Now, if we are children, then we are heirs, heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ, if indeed we share in his sufferings, in order that we may also share in his glory. So everything that we go through now, we just have to take it to God, because it's not supposed to be easy, but he's going to be with us, and there is glory at the end. There is a prize at the end, and it's more time with God, and it's just really amazing, and it's a promise. So you don't have to worry about, if I do this, will it happen? It's a promise. God is going to give it to us. And that's really great, because we don't have many guarantees in life, but we have a guarantee in God, and that's awesome.